What the? You can't keep vegetables in the secret drawer, Cheryl? First things first, we gotta take our handy dandy chalk and mark out where we need to cut to get our pieces out of these bigger slabs. So we obviously need to cut it in half. We want to cut this part out of the leg, we want to cut this part out of the leg. We're not using this part, we're not using this part. We want to keep this part, we want to keep this part. This is not a good chalk color for this light colored wood. We're gonna get two pieces out of this much pretty thick, so obviously make perfect sense. Couple handy dandy biscuits just to help with my sloppy glue up. Gotta plug it in. Now what the hell's the problem? There we go. It's the next day. We had ourselves a wardrobe change. The glue has had plenty of time to dry. So now we have two pieces that are relatively flat that we can run through our small planer. We can quickly run them through said planer, then throw in a couple more biscuits, then we glue it all back together again. We got all of our aprons ready to go. All we gotta do is do a final little planing just to make sure everything is perfectly flat still, because these have been setting for quite a few days, which I want them to see if they're gonna do any warping or anything. So Cheryl's gonna be nice enough to plane these down real quick, and then we're gonna cut them to length. So please, Cheryl, can you plane these? Yeah, Cheryl, we got them boards yet? Jesus damn, Cheryl. Now we need to cut some dowly dowels. My Jessam doweling jig, which is a fantastic tool. I just did a video on that. Cheryl helped me out with. All right, Cheryl? Yes. So now we know, wow, if I can quit dropping shit. I think 4 is plenty. So we want our side pieces to be inset on the legs. We don't want to be even because that would just be stupid looking. Right now it's at 7/16, sorry, math, yeah, 7/16. So we want to increase that by 1/4 of an inch. Right there, it's 1/4 of an inch. These are gonna be inset. Ooh, fancy. What are you doing back there, Cheryl? Chill. Holes are drilled, now it's time to taper the legs with my jig that I made with pieces I pulled out of the trash. Made a video on that if you wanna check that out. Link will be somewhere in the YouTube universe, but we're gonna taper all 4 sides of these legs because honestly, it's just way easier to keep track of if I taper all 4 sides, and that's what I'm gonna do. Jesus, could you maybe not stand right there? Wow. So tapered the legs, check. Drilled all the dowels, check. Thank you, Cheryl, for the help. But you notice I didn't put this apron in there because that's where our drawer is gonna be. I'm not putting any piece across here for any type of support. So you're thinking, holy shit, that thing's gonna be wobbly as hell. And you're right, it probably would be wobbly. I am gonna attach the top even though it can't be attached solidly because this is wood and wood moves. This little piece right here will make sense later. It's not cut to length yet. I'm gonna notch out right here in the front, glue this piece down flush with these pieces, as you will see here very shortly. Let's get that notched in there. It's gonna involve a little bit of chisel work, so I'll probably need to sharpen them bad boys. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we should probably make sure we know exactly how big the top's gonna be before we glue up the damn base to fit the top. Let's do that. Now that our top's square, the look I'm going for is this little beveled here. It's a little bit bigger than the router bits I have, so it's colored on here, you know, for clarity, so you can see it very well. Don't judge me because I picked teal because that's the first color I grabbed, okay? Cheryl, could you please start sanding those boards for me? Good work, Cheryl. It's actually time to glue this drawer together. I'm not gonna make you sit and watch me cut a bunch of pieces and a bunch of grooves because all it is just a couple of cuts to make the curve for the bottom to fit into. And then I made kind of dado cuts on the edges here to make this fit in flush on the side. I'm gonna try to show you how I'm gonna put this together and how the secret drawer is gonna work. So I'll bring you in a little closer and see if we can figure this out. So these are our sides. This is our back, which leaves a groove all the way around to put our bottom into. And then once we slide the bottom in, we have this notched to where when that fits over, it locks that in square and covers up so you don't see the bottom of the drawer. Pretty fancy. Slide it in. Slide it in. Top. Yes. Our little drawer is obviously not going to hold much weight. Cheryl's gonna put something in here that's very small probably, so we're just using 1/8 inch. This is very high quality 1/8 inch plywood though. Did the rabbiting bit with the old router so I could fit this as flush as possible to take up as least amount of room as possible. Again, all I'm gonna do is glue and pin this on here because I think it's gonna be more than enough for the usage that this thing's gonna get. I got in a hurry and I made it too long. I don't know what I was thinking. I made it too long because Cheryl's secret box will not be able to fit in here like I wanted to with this drawer being basically the full depth of our other drawer. It's just not gonna work. The thing is I don't want to remake this drawer. It's a huge pain in the ass. Yes, it's not very big. No, I'm not doing any complicated joinery, but I really do not want to remake this drawer. So I remade the drawer. I made a new face without the notches. I made it the correct depth, so that's going to work. So now we can finally move on to notching for our secret box to go in there. Hey. So we marked out kind of where this needs to go. Now I need to cut this out. I'm gonna cut it out roughly, then I'm gonna clean up with the router. So check that out. Nice and clean, whole. Our box fits neatly right into there. All we gotta do is mount that down and it's flush with the back of our drawer, which we need. This is the secret drawer, so I don't care if anybody sees the box. You have to have access to change the batteries anyway, so this is gonna be perfect. There's still room to put your secret goodies here, whether they might be whatever they might be, okay? Cheryl, you keep your stuff out of this drawer. oversized holes are for these screws, just pocket hole screws, because they got the flat head on them. Put that in there, allows us to move our drawer around just a little bit, because believe it or not, I don't always put them in there perfectly. So this is gonna help us a lot. And once we get the drawer positioned exactly where we want it, then we can put in a couple of more screws to really fasten it down. Now we can put our drawer back in. Cheryl, what the hell? You can't keep vegetables in the secret drawer, Cheryl?